My husband was killed in a tragic work-related incident when someone came into his place of business and shot several people, including my husband, which made me a widow at such a young age and left my son was without a father. My son had just turned 3 a few months prior to the shooting. After the funeral services, things became unbearable. So, I made the decision to relocate and start a new life somewhere else. I did some research and made a choice between several different states. I knew some friends that were currently living in at least 2 of the states, and the other 2 states were going to be unknown to me. Well, I chose one of the unknowns. I went online and was able to locate a nice apartment, and I signed the lease. All online and before even arriving in our new city. I wanted to make sure we had somewhere to live before making such a big step. We had now been living in Atlanta for about 1 month. I was busy furnishing our nice new apartment and getting to know our new neighborhood. I found out where the grocery store and the pharmacy were located. I was able to locate a family medical clinic about 2 blocks away. My son loved the movies, so I found a movie theater 1 block down the street. Overall, researching and just mapping out locations near our new apartment. Our new apartment was in the perfect spot. We were close to almost everything we needed. With the life insurance and my savings, we were set for a little while financially. But I still wanted to actively look for a job. Hopefully find one close to our new home. I also wanted to be able to find a nice daycare center near my job, so that my son would be near for any emergencies. I had a car, but the subway was the way to go to get to know our city. The nearest subway entrance was about 2 blocks east of our new apartment. The both of us enjoyed taking the subway. As my son called it, the choo-choo train that talks, due to all the destination announcements it makes. Well, I decided since we have been here a month, we would go check out the Peachtree Center. I told my son that when we wake up the next morning, we were going to go ride the choo-choo train that talks. He was so excited. So, the next day after we had our breakfast, we set out on our 2-block walk to the subway entrance closest to us. We lived closest to the Blue Line. We got on our first train at the Westlake entrance, and we were going to be taking it to the Red Line. When you get to the Red Line, one direction will take you to the ATL airport, and the other direction will take you to the Peachtree Center. Because my son is so young, I would always hold his little hands to guide him through the busy traffic-filled streets and the busy people. We had just gotten off the Blue Line, and we made our way over to the Red Line, and we were waiting for the next train. The train pulled up, but it was the Red Line going in the direction of the airport, not ours. So, While waiting for our train to come, I decided to take a few selfies with my phone. First, I squatted down and took a couple with my son. Then I stood up and I let go of his hand and I took a couple of myself. When I looked down to grab his little hand, he was gone. I frantically turned around in circles, calling out his name, when suddenly I heard his little voice call Mommy. When I looked in the direction of his voice, I saw he was on the Red Line train and the door was shutting. And as I tried to run to the door, the train took off in the direction of the airport. All I could do was start screaming. Some of the people around me stopped and stared. Others just kept walking on by, not looking up as though it was normal to hear a woman screaming. Several people approached me while I was still screaming. Someone informed several of the patrolling police officers that something was wrong. As the police approached, all I could get out was, my son," while I pointed in the direction of the Red Line train that had my son on it. After the police was able to calm me down enough to get my story out, they informed me that there were at least 6 other station stops before the train reaches the airport. So, while one of the female officers tried to keep me calm, the other 2 male officers were on their radios calling the other 6 stations. They would have some officers try to catch the Red Line train as it stopped at each station. Luckily, a nice lady was on that same train and witnessed what had happened. She calmed my son down from crying and took his little hand. And she got off with my son at the next station. And as some of the officers were walking to try to catch that train, she stopped them and told them what happened. Then she handed my son over to the officers. One of those officers contacted the officer that was near me, and they informed me that they had my son, and they would be bringing him to me in their squad car. Miss B, what a dumb thing for me to do, to let go of my young son's hand just to take a selfie of myself, especially in a busy environment with lots of people moving in all directions. Yes, indeed, this should be a lesson learned by many. It only takes a moment for a tragic situation to happen. Put the phones down and keep an eye on your children. If you are enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.